smells the same.
It's kind of sad.
Maybe we're just getting weaker.
Day number 1 down here for our blacktail hunt. We hiked in the dark yesterday, set up the tent right here in the middle of a burn. Whenever you set up a tent in a spot like this where there's a lot of widowmakers, always check the trees. So even though there's a bunch of dead trees, kind of went and pushed them around to see that they weren't gonna tip over, which we survived the first night. So that's the 6-person tent we brought. It's myself, Nate, and my brother Chanu right now. Colin and Jason should be on their way in right now, but they couldn't leave until midnight, so we decided to hike in and set up camp first. So we're gonna do our first morning glassing session without the 2 eagle eyes. So we're probably not gonna see anything until the 2 boys show up. But anyway, this is the game plan. We're gonna hike up this ridge, get on the ridge line, work our way this way, and start glassing into these small little finger ridges. See if we can't pick up some blacktail deer. They should be rutting. You could carry those for me. I'm just kidding. Doing my duty for me. Just came across our first fresh deer sign. Looks like a pretty nice track. Big doe or a buck. Just 1 deer. Post rainfall track. So it had to be within the past 12 hours or so. While we were snoozing. Camp is right down there. It's just a lone deer. Might be a buck cruising around for does. Made it to our glassing knob. The one thing about blacktails that I have learned in my very limited experience is most of the time blacktails don't die because most people don't spot them. Particularly in the area we're hunting today, we are glassing big country for a very small animal. So big country, small animal, they can be a needle in a haystack. So with that said, you gotta come prepared with the best optics that you can get your hands on and the best accessories to go with your glassing optics. So for example, I've got a Kestrel Glassing Systems monopod here. On my Razor UHD right here, there's a stud and it just pops right into those slots, just like so. And now with this little locking knob right here, I can lock this and have my binoculars be set, or I can loosen it and adjust it to the right eye level. And now I can glass with a much more stable platform, which is gonna help yield in a higher percentage of glassing up these elusive blacktails. There's this stand. There's also a tripod mount. A tripod mount will take out all wobble. This thing doesn't take out all the wobble, but it takes out a significant amount from hand holding. So get to glassing, see if we can't pick up some rutting blacktails. Either that or it's a big boar trying to kill a little bear. Because I don't know why, but that first one is running. They're both moving so fast.
Where are they?
Right above the big white rock. In and out of the bush. behind that orange rock now. Right on it. They are running so fast. I've never seen a bear run like that.
Should I shoot?
Yeah. It's a little spike.
Is it spike?
2x1. Just let him go.
Let it go?
Well, I don't know. Yeah. You could run after him. Oh my god. We just had a little 2x1 walk right up to us. There's bucks around. They're cruising. 2 bears, 1 buck. That's not how I expected to see the first buck. We have been looking at these 2 bears and we're a little confused as to what these bears are doing. It looks like it's a small sound, a cub. We don't know why they were running, and then they went up into a tree. Now they're going down, but they were hanging up in a tree together. And now the bigger one, which I think is the sow, is like trying to rip off bark from the tree. So maybe they're just playing around and trying to eat. Or maybe there's a big boar below the tree trying to get one of these bears and have them as a meal. Anyway, the wind's picking up, which is not fun. But down in these little ridge pockets, I think all these animals are blocked by the wind. The sun is slowly peeking through. Hopefully the sun will help us pick out some deer. Bears and deer spotted. That's exactly what we came out here for. The wind is howling now, and it's cold. Nate and I are glassing. Chinu actually worked his way up towards where that spike ran off to. And we've been sitting here just contemplating about what we're gonna do and complaining how our legs are cold. And I have my vinyl set on the Kestrel tripod adapter, and I'm looking and I just see this weird flicker by this tree. And I look, sure enough, it's a deer. It looks like a doe. But right now, it's the rut, or at least it should be close to the rut. So if you see a doe, there's a good chance that there's a buck around her. So Nate went to go grab the spotter. It just went behind a tree, and we're gonna throw the spotter on it. Yep, I see its ears.
You see it?
Yep, it's gonna come out. I think it's a doe or it's a spike. But if it's a doe, I kind of hope it's a doe because I know it's not a big buck. I hope it's a doe because there might be a big lunker tailing her. At the moment they turn into a direction where it's not broadside, they just vanish. No, that's not her. What are you looking at? A bush. Alright, so white patch. She's like 10 yards. What do you zoom in? So yeah, you're literally on it. She's right there by that big white log. She's right under it, like 5 feet. What is that second one? Oh, looks like 2 does. Okay. Do you concur, 2 does?
First one I see is a doe that's facing us. I don't see the second one.
The second one's to the left, like 10 yards. You see the rump, its head's behind the tree. But that one to the right, I just saw that one. That's a new one. The original one's the one on the left. Any bucks chasing? 1 doe turned to 2 does, turned to potentially a 3rd deer, which might be a little buck. It's really hard to see because the camera is shaking because there's a wind gust that's like moving the spotting scope around. And we're also looking pretty far. This is like a mile. So Nate's over there on his big camera, which is just as powerful, if not more powerful than my spotting scope. And there's 3 deer. Just trying to see if we have a shooter. Chinu just made his way. I just saw him crest over the ridge top right now. But we've got deer. My goodness. We don't have to rely on Colin. Well, I take that back. We rely on him to spot the big bucks. So that's all we're doing. Big country like this, you just gotta take your time. And literally the only reason why I spotted that first doe was because of this tripod adapter. My binoculars were as still as possible. I'm just looking for any movement, and I just saw the ears flicker, and that's how I spotted that doe. So we're gonna keep our eyes out. Colin and Jason should almost be here. So we're gonna keep our eyes out, see if we just can't spot a big buck. That good.
Let's go.
You guys dropped stuff off at camp?
Yep.
Okay, nice.
Is this you too? Or?
No, Chinu went up and over.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We could have shot one right there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like a nice one or?
It was a porky.
Oh, yeah? What do you guys take?
Huh?
What do you guys take?
Chinu was too slow.
Oh.
Dude, we were flashing right there. He was right there on the cliff.
What the?
Yeah, he was just walking his way over, and then
Yeah.
we all looked up. We're like, oh, there's a buck right there. And he just kind of hopped his way over.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have 3 does down here. We saw 2 bears earlier.
Oh, yeah? Damn.
There's I think it's a sow and a cub. They went up in a tree and they were just feeding around, but we have 3 does right now.
Okay.
So that's Jason right there.
Hey.
Jason made it. Colin's here too, but Colin went to glass his backside, and the sun's out now, and I just spotted a nice forky just running up the side of this ridge across from the hillside where we spotted those 3 does. So I figured, because of the way those does were acting, just alert in the brush, that forky was probably around them, running around, and then he just decided that those does were not in heat, and he just decided to cruise off. I think that a lot of these bucks right now are just going around checking does to see if they're in heat, and then whenever they find a doe in heat, they just lock down. But that buck was clearly on a mission, which tells me that those 3 does are not in heat, which is not a good sign that there's a buck around them, or at least not a buck that's stationary around them. There might be bucks that come in and out to check on them, but I don't think there's any buck that's staying around. Nonetheless, buck spotted. We're just gonna continue to perch up here, put the optics to use. I'm just really waiting for Colin to run back over the hill and be like, guys, I got a monster. And then me and Nate can fight for it. Wanna know something?
What's up?
I have never had pork ramen before.
Really?
Yeah,
Really good.
Really. I've always just had beef and chicken.
Oh, it's one of my favorites.
Really?
I think the ramen, I have never had the soy sauce ramen.
That does not sound very
It's
appetizing.
really weird, but
Pork ramen. I didn't even know they made pork ramen.
yeah, it's good.
Really? We have set up a tarp because The original plan was to hike over here and glass this other hillside, but as soon as we started hiking, weather rolled in. We got somewhat fogged in, and the wind is gusting as it has been all morning, but it started to rain / sleet. And so instead of doing a 2023 repeat, we decided to be smart, hunker down in the timber, throw up a tarp. We're gonna wait it out. Fighting. Antlers, right? Yeah. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, that sounds like 2 bucks fighting. No, just in that fog. Go like this. Go, let's go. We're running out of light. It doesn't matter. It's cutting like this. It's too loud over there. We can just hear. I'm pretty sure it's bugs fighting.
Why are you up so early today?
I got 12 hours of sleep, man. Well, not quite.
Doesn't seem like that's enough sleep.
It was great. The new enjoyment of hunting.
All right.
Hey.
Day number 2. Camp is right there. Sun is peeking over the horizon. We are going in a little bit late today because this morning was fogged in a little bit, so we figured there's really no point in glassing in the fog and getting up early for that, so took it easy. Now that the sun is out, it should help yield in spotting some deer, because these deer, when they're wet and the sun hits them, they shine. So we'll make our way up to where we heard those bucks fighting last night. Colin spotted a spike this morning. Working our way into where Nate and I heard those bucks fighting at last light yesterday. Wind is howling over here, but right here the wind is really calm. Essentially no wind, which I hope that's the case once we get down into the saddle, that the wind gets blocked over here and we don't have to worry about the wind. This side over here looks really good. You're just deeper in, less pressure, and the sun's high. Beautiful bluebird skies. Just like that doe we saw earlier. I think a lot of deer are out in the sun sunbathing, trying to warm up. I got high hopes. We just pulled up to our glassing knob. Colin, Jason, and Nate are right above me. They're glassing that side. I'm gonna sneak over to the side of this ridge and glass down low. We're just trying sat down, I just saw movement down low. It looks like a deer. The brush is tall. It might have caught me coming down here. It was moving down. I don't know what it is, but it looked like a deer. Gray. I don't know if that deer was just naturally moving or if it caught my movement and decided to go off. But the brush here is very, very thick. It's a lot thicker than what we've been glassing. And so the brush is bigger than the deer, so it's very easy for them to just walk and disappear. I've been keeping a close eye on that spot, but I haven't seen that deer come back out. It could have very well just moved off, and I never saw it again. But it's a pretty big open valley right here, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on it. I just want to know if it's a buck or a doe. That's it. Only 300 yards. I was putting my bag down and clear eye. I just saw a gray movement move off to the bottom left.
I think you're blocked, Nate.
Yeah, I only see his body, not the head.
Nate, I think you're blocked.
I see his head, so if he takes a step.
Yep, alright. Whenever you're ready.
Oh, he's just feeding. How far is that?
415.
415?
I don't see him.
See him? He's to the left now. He's on like the spine.
See him elevation?
He's on spine. He's on brush.
What?
He's on brush.
Yeah, I can't find him in my scope.
He's about to crest?
Look, he's over now. To the top. He's on top now.
Dude, I can't find him.
Yeah, he's on the spine now.
He's what?
The spine, that hill that he's on. He's walking right.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even see him. Are you on him, Jason?
Yeah, I still see him.
Dude, what the heck?
I think
He's behind a bush.
I think he went over.
Yeah,
did?
he went over.
But he might just be following the hill base, so.
Okay, we are set up, but the buck has moved off. I don't know if he's moved off, but he was just feeding his way up the ridge. And I don't know if he crested because I wasn't looking at him. So I'm just going based off what the guys are saying. Just be aware we have a breeze. Here's the game plan. That buck did crest over to the backside where we cannot see. So, there's 4 of us. Myself and Jason are staying at our original lookout point. Nate and Colin are taking this really old trail, and it's gonna lead them to the ridge on the opposite face of where that buck crested into. And so from that angle, they should be able to spot the buck out on the other face, as long as it's not really thick. Meanwhile, I've got my rifle set up in case the buck decides to crest back over to our side in the event that he naturally comes in or comes back and Nate doesn't have a shot, or in the rare event that Nate misses and a buck comes running back, I'll have a shot. That whole hillside is within 400 yards, so she's locked and loaded. I'm just gonna sit here and let Nate and Colin do their stock. Hopefully Nate gets to shoot this blacktail. I did not get to see the antlers. I don't know how big it is. I just saw the big body. It's a big body. And I think Jason said it's either a forky or a 3-point. So it's a good buck. Now we just gotta be patient and let them do their stock. I just find it a little suspicious that there's a lone doe running up the ridge by herself when I'm confident there's no people down low that pushed her up. And we're getting close to the rut, so I'm keeping my eyes out in case there's a buck that's chasing her. Just a lone doe running around. You just never count out what's behind her, so I'm gonna keep a close eye right below me where that doe came out of. I don't even think Jason saw her. Jason sees a different deer though. He said somewhere down here. My goodness, there's deer everywhere. More. buck down, baby. Oh, I hope I got that on video. What a fiasco. I'm willing to bet that's the buck that chased that doe. I think I saw him go down. I apologize. That's Colin. I think Jason went over with Nate. I have no idea if I got that on video. There's a bigger one. Hold on, you shot a different one. I didn't see this one. Let's keep running. Down the peak down there. This one 4 points standing down there. Oh, what the heck? Yeah, I saw that one first. I'll get your attention. He's just standing down there broadside. Really? Yeah. Which one? Where? So the flat. The flat. Oh, the far one? Yeah, and then there's like a little mound on the right. He's standing right over there. That's 4 points. This is crazy. I know, right? That's a nice 3 point. Yeah, he's a solid 3. Dude. No, this buck's dead, right? Yeah. I saw him tip over. Tumble down. Yeah, I saw him tip over.
I saw him kick, and then he just disappeared.
Okay.
Oh, he's down there, dude.
Where's this big buck at?
He's on that little mound.
Is he big?
I just saw 4 point. He's like bright yellow.
Where is Jason and Nate?
I had not found them at all. And then I heard a gunshot. I was like, dude, I see someone reloading. Like, oh, they probably got one.
Oh shoot, you guys saw me. Oh, you guys were literally watching us.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see the buck right here?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
I thought you shot all the way down there.
Oh no, he wasn't that far.
Okay. Dang, that was
Yeah,
cool though.
we're gonna stay here.
Yeah, we'll post it right here.
We'll post up right here.
The most insane.
That was so
That's
wild.
last year. Yeah,
That was-
crazier than last year, right?
Everybody is in shock right now. We all just are trying to wrap our heads around what just happened. We can't believe it. So, Nate and Jason, I thought Colin was going with Nate. It turns out Jason was going with Nate. And there's that little divot across the hillside. They were in that shady patch when I shot. So they were glassing me, and they saw me do all my stuff. And I shot the buck below. We have a bigger buck down low, and we still have the original buck that Nate and Jason went after. And then we have a hot doe in here. So the fact that there's a hot doe in here, we know there's more bucks. And this buck down here, I never saw him, but Colin said he's a nice 4 point. So I'm pretty sure my buck is down. So Nate and Jason are gonna go grab their stuff because it's right here. It's blocked by the wind, and it's just a nice vantage. This is why I came set up over here. I originally was right there. Just not a good spot to set up. And then, yeah, this is madness. Man, I am glad I racked around in.
Why is that? So then if he comes up to the left, we could just like make our way.
There's probably like 700 deer.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping somebody follows that trail.
Just keep an eye below you. Well, I think we're at dead hour, so we're making some breakfast, eating, and then we're gonna make the little like 200-yard hike down to my buck, get him taken care of, and then hopefully by then the deer start getting active again, and hopefully we can make a play on the buck. But we're just playing it easy right now. We haven't seen a deer ever since the big buck, the original big buck Colin was trying to point me to, and then yeah, sun's high, so I think a lot of these deer are bedded. I don't think this doe has left this drainage. I just never saw her again. I last saw her like 200 yards to my left, and the buck's not chasing her anymore, so I'm assuming she has no reason to keep running.
And now there's another one around there.
I think I shot him somewhere right here because these are his tracks, and these looks like running tracks, like trotting tracks, not after shot tracks. So I'm gonna mark this on Onyx just to have a pin drop of where the deer kind of went. As he lay. Just got a little nervous there. So I was like, why are we going so far? Bug down.
Yeah.
Woo. Just a very tall, beautiful buck. So the first thing I normally do when I get to a kill is I get on Onyx maps again and I mark the kill location. I mark it just to have in the future of reference where you've killed a deer.
The eye guards.
Yeah, he's a super solid deer. I'm happy with him.
Super nice buck. There he is. Tall and sort of narrow in.
Shot him from that rock right up there. Thanks, dude.
Oh, this is all you. I was over there with me.
Hey, this is your sauce. This is your spot. Ooh, oh yeah, he's a little 4.
Yeah, crabby on the other side, but.
All right, I think we drag him down here, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, that shot was money.
Yeah, don't go flying down there. That shot was perfect.
Here's my 2024 Oregon Blacktail. This is technically my 3rd year hunting Blacktail down here in Oregon. Last year was my first successful year, and it was with the same 2 epic guides, 2 epic dudes, Jason and Colin. And this is still exceeding my expectations. I told them last year, I was like, okay, I got spoiled. I know I got spoiled with a giant monarch. And I told them, I was like, my expectations are still at reality level of a forked horn. So I came in here thinking I was gonna shoot a forky. Well, I didn't shoot no forky. He's actually got a lot more tines than I originally thought when I first shot him. And this is day number 2, and it's already been one heck of a hunt. This is the hunt that I've been telling Nate all year. I was like, this is the hunt I'm the most excited about, because it's just such a fun time with great people, and the hunting is just excellent. And so this year Nate actually got a tag, and he came down with me this year. And fun fact, this buck was never supposed to happen. We were actually on a game plan to put Nate on a buck, which the buck is just right across on this hillside when we last saw him. And so Nate and Jason, they were gonna make this loop to the backside so that they can see onto the face that buck had crested over to. And I'm like, all right, since they're over there, I'm just gonna get set up just in case the buck decides to come back over to my side. And probably like 10 minutes later, there's this doe just comes running by me. And I'm like, oh, that's a little odd. It's just a random doe that just comes running by me. And this is first week in November, which is typically rutting time for blacktail. So when there's a lone doe running past you, tongue hanging out, you know that there's something chasing her. Colin was sitting above me, like 30 yards above me, glassing, and I watched the doe disappear, and then I just hear Colin yelling at me. I look up at him, he's skylining, and he's just like doing hand signals because he can't yell because the wind is too loud. And so he's doing hand signals, he's like giving me a sign of a buck. And I'm like, okay, there's a buck, Colin sees a buck. And so I'm looking, big country, I was like, I don't know where this buck is. And so Colin's giving me all these random hand signals, trying to tell me where to look. And finally he's like, on the peak. And so I'm like, there's only one peak down below me. So it's probably like a 500-yard distance from me. I look down there, I'm glassing with the binos, I can't find this deer. And Colin's like, dude, he's broadside, like in the wide open, you can't miss him. And so I was sitting down, so I stand up, and as I stand up like 50 yards away, I see this buck running next to me, and in my head I'm like, Colin, that's not far away, he's right here, just tell me he's right here. Well, fun fact, Colin never saw this buck. Colin actually had a bigger buck spotted down low, and then I didn't care. I didn't know that Colin had a different buck at that time. I thought it was just this one single deer. I looked at him, I said, I'm gonna take him. And so at that point, my camera was to my left and I couldn't see my screen, so it was a fiasco just trying to, and hoping that I had the deer on camera, which I did a lot better job than I thought because I didn't know Colin was also filming. And so finally, Colin, just the expert that he is, he already knew what I needed him to do. No communication, Colin just yelled at this deer, got him to stop quartering away, and I'm shooting this, essentially, it's not new, but it's a new configuration. This is the Savage 110 Ultralight rifle. But I swapped out the stock, the original 110 Ultralight stock, with the MDT Hunt 26 chassis. And this is chambered in 6.5 PRC. I have this topped with a Vortex Razor LHT 3 to 15 by 50 rifle scope. And I swapped ammos this year just to test out some new ammunition. And I'm shooting the Federal Terminal Ascent 130 grain. And I have the Aero Precision Lahar suppressor over here. I took a whitetail buck earlier this year, and I just figured the 6.5 PRC was a perfect cartridge for down here, Blacktails and black bear. And one perfect shot right behind the shoulder, and he made it probably like 60 yards down the hill and expired. So that's my hunt for 2024 Oregon Blacktail. I can't thank Jason over here enough. Colin's still up at the rock, still always, that dude never quits glassing. So Colin's not down here with us. Obviously, thank you to Nate. Nate's my personal photographer at this point, so he makes me look good in photos. So the hunt's not over. We came down here temporarily just to get this buck taken care of, but as soon as this is over, we're going back up to the rock and we're gonna get back to glassing for Nate. So there's 2 bigger bucks down here. The hunt's not over. I feel like if anything, the hunt's just getting started. So if we get lucky, we'll shoot a buck, another buck today, and then we can focus on bear unless the dudes wanna go home. So that's it. Now we gotta get to work. I've got my entire deer and the cape and the head loaded up. Nate and Jason offered to help, but the rock is just right up there, so I told them, like, you guys just go back to the rock and just try to go find Nate a buck. I'll take care of the deer. So I've got my whole deer. I'm not caping him to do a shoulder mount, but Jason just wants the cape because he just wants to save up capes. So I caped out this deer and skinned off the cape, so the head and cape are already 2 separate pieces. I'm just gonna take the skull with the antlers. So the boys are already back up the rock, so I'm gonna get my rifle and then I'm gonna work my way back up to where they are. Sit up there, try to find Nate a buck. Woo, leg 1 done. We're back at our camp and we're gonna celebrate by eating some fresh backstrap. Nate's in charge of cooking tonight, so we took 1 full backstrap from the deer I shot, and I think he's doing just some oil and Montreal steak seasoning. I also bought a full jar of Lowry seasoning because that's how confident I am whenever I hunt with Colin and Jason. I already know we're gonna kill something because these boys are built different. We're just gonna make sure we have a nice cold base, cook some backstrap over the fire, and yeah, just soak in today, and then off to find Nate's buck tomorrow. We know there are some big boys still running around.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we left it on the fire a little long, but it's still moist.
Which one do you want? You want that one? Take it.
I feel kind of smaller. One more? Let's do that piece.
I'm full. Usually when we make meat in the backcountry, they make like